Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be talking about how Roblox is deleting their history, or at least from what I can tell. I don't really keep up with Roblox YouTube, but I haven't seen anybody else talking about this, so I figured it's time I make my own video and kind of just air out my thoughts on this whole thing. Because, seeing Roblox kind of abandon their history and pay no attention to their legacy is concerning, and it's also confusing because Roblox is so rich in history. If you know, you know. There's just so much history on this website. It goes back so far. And there's plenty of people who make YouTube videos just dedicated to that, trying their best to document what they can. So big props to anyone who cares about that. But unfortunately, Roblox just doesn't seem to. And it almost seems like every year, Roblox's history takes another blow. And it's sad to see. The whole reason I'm making this video is because I noticed recently that Roblox deleted their blog. I don't know if any of you guys have read through that, but there are so many posts and so much information, so much history on there that has pretty much just been wiped. So I'm not really sure what Roblox was thinking doing that. I have absolutely no idea what they did with the blog, but it can't be publicly viewed, and they've completely replaced it with this thing called the newsroom. So yeah, I don't really know what this is for or what the purpose of it is, but I feel like this could fully exist without completely eradicating the blog from existence, because I mean they would post literally everything on that blog, every update, every event, any notable happening in Roblox's history, you name it. It was on that blog, and a lot of really cool stories are just completely wiped now. You can't go see them anymore. And to be honest, I didn't even want to bring this one up, but the forums were a huge loss to the website. I didn't use them myself, but anyone who did would tell you that this was one of the best Roblox features on the whole website, and there were plenty of people who stuck around just to talk on the forums. And what this has to do with Roblox's history is, since it was just a forum where people could literally post whatever they wanted, anytime something happened on the website, people would go posting about it on the forums, and luckily the Roblox forum archive exists so we can go back and see all the exact dates of these posts. But what I'm trying to say is, if it weren't for that forum archive tool, we would not be able to see any of that, and Roblox would completely have forgotten about it. There were some big rumors last year that the forums were going to make a return in 2025, but realistically that was a bunch of YouTubers just clickbaiting, and they were actually just comparing the forums to a new update that was coming out, but it's not the same thing at all. Roblox forums are gone, they're not returning. I think that's pretty obvious, but yeah. Another change they've made recently is you can no longer see banned players' usernames and icons. Obviously, you couldn't go view these people's profiles already, but you used to be able to see them in people's friends list and following list still, and if you had these people added, you also had the option to remove them, but none of that information shows up anymore, and I can understand why Roblox did this. For the longest time, people were bypassing usernames and avatars, and when they would get banned, they wouldn't be able to play Roblox and go into games anymore, but you could still view their username and their icon on people's profiles as if they hadn't been banned. So this is a big problem, and Roblox took it upon themselves to fix it, but this is unfortunate because a lot of players who are really important to the game over the years have also had their information completely wiped, and it makes it even worse to think that a lot of those people were banned for false reasons anyways. I'm not going to bother getting too deep in all that and why these people were falsely banned, but there are a lot of people who are now banned that honestly really should be credited for helping make Roblox what it was in the early days. So yeah, seeing that it's completely impossible to view these people nowadays, it sucks. So this next thing I'm going to talk about is not as much Roblox deleting their history as much as I feel like it's just a feature that kind of changes a big part of Roblox's culture, at least in my opinion, and that is UGC. I think that UGC is a feature that was bound to come out since Roblox was first created, and I'm surprised it didn't come out way earlier, to be honest with you. But a huge problem is the UGC copies of limited hats and off-sale hats too. The reason this is a problem is because, I mean, for one, the hats that these are copies of are worth lots of money. And surprisingly enough, most of the real versions of these items actually did not suffer any kind of, drop in value because of UGC or anything like that. But I think it does play a big part in, making hats kind of meaningless. A lot of these old hats were earned for specific things through tournaments and events that Roblox used to hold. And so it used to mean something when you saw it on a person's head, but now even items as big as a Dominus, when I see it, I just think UGC. That's the first thing that comes to mind, even if it looks like a real one. I mean, people are literally uploading one-to-one copies of limited items on the catalog, and they'll sit up there for months before they're taken down. So yeah, I think that really takes away from hat culture on Roblox because that was a huge part of it. And another thing that Roblox just doesn't seem to care about is old games that they break with studio updates. One thing that David Baszucki specifically talked about a long time ago was his hope that old games would still be able to function 10 years from now, 15 years from now, no matter what kind of updates they make. And I mean, they already failed at doing that almost 10 years ago now, but especially recently, I've just seen so many features deprecated, and a lot of old games are going to break because of this. But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty obvious one, so I'm not going to talk about that any longer. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to make this video to talk about why Roblox really isn't the same, and how Roblox is really pushing away from, you know, acknowledging their legacy and leaving it around for people to see. And I think a big part of this has to do with how their structure has changed. I mean, going from a small startup to the biggest game in the world, going public on the stock market, and, you know, becoming a proper corporation, there's a lot of changes. In the old Roblox HQ, you could probably walk around and know every person's name off by heart. Roblox has thousands of employees now, and I'm not sure that most of them actually know the game that they're working for. So when you take that into consideration, it's hard to expect Roblox to care about preserving their legacy and things that don't really make them profit. But that really was the beauty of Roblox before. It was just thriving with creativity, before all the money incentives and things like that, before you could developer exchange, and before you could really make a career out of Roblox. There were a lot of completely original ideas that aligned much more closely with Roblox's style back then, and I think a lot of Roblox's success has to be attributed to some of those original creations back then. Even the recreations of actual games people would make, like Star Battle or Little Cinnamon recreating Call of Duty Zombies, for example, it still felt like Roblox, and it was cool because people were just trying to push the boundaries of this kind of limited yet unlimited, you know, sandbox that they had to work with. But now you see people making Roblox games that compete with titles even off of Roblox. I mean, Adopt Me literally had their own McDonald's deal. So to say Roblox is mainstream would be an understatement, but Roblox's perception from the outside really is not that good. I think a lot of people see the recreations on Roblox now and have higher expectations just because of how popular Roblox is now, but they're disappointed when they find out that most of the recreations of games they find on here are just going to be a fraction of the quality, even if they are really good to Roblox's standards. That's why I feel like a lot of these older games that were more aligned with Roblox's early style just make more sense inherently. But then again, you can't expect the game to not change at all. I just think that nowadays Roblox is really lacking creativity, and a lot of people say they feel bored when they're just browsing through Roblox and looking for something to do. I think Roblox really could solve this problem though by just making legacy servers, taking the old website, the old client, and making it playable again, the same way that Jagex did with old school RuneScape, and the same way that Valve is doing with CS Legacy. You know, I think Roblox honestly pushes for a lot of this stuff to fade into obscurity because it just doesn't align with their advertising and what they want Roblox to be, essentially. But there are so many good things to say about the old game and what it had to offer, and I think it'd be only a positive having some sort of legacy version of the game that people can go and play like they would have played the old website. But knowing Roblox, they probably won't. But yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about this topic. If you guys agree or have anything to add to it, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's about it. Peace.